Hello, I'm Roland Puchu, and my final speech today will be on the migrant crisis in the southern borders. It is often said that America is a country of immigration, a melting pot of people from different nationalities, religious backgrounds, and culture who came together with a single goal to foster the growth of this country, which has become the greatest nation on earth. This year alone, America has seen the highest number of immigrants seeking asylum into America through the southern border. These migrants from many different countries like Guatemala, Honduras, Ecuador, Asian and African countries are here because of the oppression they have gone through in their home countries. Each and every one of them has a reason why they're running away from their home country to the US. Most of them are forced to flee persecution or human rights violations such as torture. Millions flee from armed conflicts or other crises of violence. Some no longer feel safe and might have been targeted just because of whom they are or what they do or believe. For example, for their ethnicity, religion, sexuality, or political opinions. These journeys, which all starts with the hope for a better future, can also be full of danger and fear. Some people risk falling prey to human trafficking and other forms of exploitation, walking through all manners of conditions to America, which they consider a safe and peaceful place to start a new life. One of the countries which with the highest number of population right now in the southern border is Cameroon, with close to 5,000 migrants seeking asylum who have fled from political instability, civil unrest between the government forces and the English-speaking separatists who, due to marginalization for so long, decided to ask to be separated from the mostly French-dominated Cameroon. But they were met with brutal retaliation and confrontation from the government forces, which rendered a lot of people homeless, lots of people killed, and some of them decided to run and seek asylum in America. Their journeys to the southern border from Cameroon is hell because they have to go through jungles in South America, oftentimes faced with thieves, human traffickers, deadly animals, and some who cannot travel in those conditions die on the way, all in search of greener pastures. The migration policy this time is so cruel to the migrants who are, after facing all the torture and rough conditions on their way to America, are faced at the border with denial of granting them asylum. Those who are fortunate enough to be granted asylum face undesirable conditions in the holding facilities. Children locked in cages, people filled up in small spaces, lack of proper sanitation and health care for the migrants. The extraordinary surge of asylum seekers is testing the limit of whom exactly the United States is willing to protect, challenging the stone carved ideal of America as the place that welcomes the tired and the poor, yearning to break free. It has also presented Trump with one of the most vexing policy challenges of his presidency, and virtually every measure taken so far has made the problem worse. Trump this spring deployed a nuclear option, separating parents from their children in an attempt to stop families from coming. It backfired. The controversy generated by the policy and its abrupt rollback 6 weeks later handed smuggling guides across Central America a potent sale pitch. They all tell potential customers the Americans do not jail parents who bring children and to hurry up before they might start doing so again. Families asking for mercy constitute a greater than ever portion of those taken into custody. More than half of the arrests along the Mexican border last month were migrant families of unaccompanied minors, up, up from the 13% in 2013. This spring, Trump fixated on a caravan of asylum seekers traveling through Mexico, with a lesser number whom eventually crossed into the United States. Now, a much larger procession of more than 7,000 Central Americans and others are in the borders despite threats from the president to stop them, with US troops and several aids to their countries. There is a sinking feeling among departments of Homeland Security officials that more caravans are yet to come and they will only get larger. It is so sad that even after the inhumane treatment the refugees are subjected to, the president is still calling for mass deportation of immigrants who are considered as illegals by the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Police, who the ICE police, who have a history of detaining and deporting asylees without any crimes. The the immigration process have become worse because of the Democrats and Republicans' inability to come up with a unified policy on how to handle the refugee crisis in the southern border, and President Trump's constant call for Congress to vote on a spending bill to build a border wall in the southern border is not helping solve the crisis issue. The only solution, if I am allowed to chip in, is for Congress to put away their differences, come together and vote a bill that will facilitate the fast processing of asylum cases by the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you.